Aha! Solved it. Hey, look at that. I don't know what was going on. It was just terrible. Like my camera just I had to unplug it and replug it. That seemed all I had to do was crawl under my own desk. Sometimes that's the only solution. Audio's good at least? Okay, good. I hate when I try to explain stuff and while I'm giving you the explanation, I'm in a silent movie. It's terrific. Daily Dose of Sanity. Yes. The Daily Dose of Sanity is here. By the way, it's, I gotta say, I'm trying so hard not to schaden the Freude out of this shit, but it's gonna be difficult. I'm just telling you. Let me go straight to, let's see, I think I have, yeah, we got a bunch of this stuff. Yeah. Well, here, I'll show you some, a footage of sort of what's going on inside Tucker-Carlson's mind right now. Something like that. That seems to be what's going on inside Tucker-Carlson's head currently. Yes, I am 55. It's true. You can't drive me. So the audio was shit. Are we okay? All right, there you go. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to jump around on this next one. I almost feel like the opening will be enough. I have not. It's a whole program, so we're not going to watch all of it because that would be sheer madness. And a lot of times when I'm breaking down the right-wing stuff, if something is an hour, it's got 5 hours of lying in it for me to break down and go through each piece. So that's always the tough part, right? I know what you're going to say too. When I show you this next image, chat room, by the way, hit the like, share the show, Venmo, etc. When I show you this, the title of this video, you're going to say redundant, and I have no, here we go, 3, 2, 1, redundant. It got ugly is the title of this video. This is from the Rubin report, the Rubber report, the Rubin report. Is that his name? Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin. He used to be on. He used to do the Rubin over at the Young Turks, and now he's just rubbing on his own. It's the Lonely Rubin is the show, I think. But this is what's great about this is I'm just enjoying. So if you don't know, there's been a big back and forth between Trump and Tucker-Carlson, who, and all these guys like, he's a warmonger now and blah, blah, blah. Trump, and he's, owned by the Israelis got to him, or they've got compromise. And it never occurs to these assholes that he was just a liar and they were just a sucker. I mean, if you're going to use Occam's rubber mallet, start hammering, dum-dum. So all of them are convinced that a change has occurred, and apparently that's the only thing that hasn't happened, which is these guys, the only change that needs to occur is these guys eventually realize that he's a bullshitter and that he continues to bullshit them, and they continue to lap it up in its most liquid form. So check this out. Hold on. I don't care. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Rubin. This is the Rubin Report. It is June 17th in the year 2025. We are live streaming on Rumble, YouTube, and Locals. We are crushing it in the subscriber game. I don't ask much from you good people, but when I do, you really come.
It's the easiest way to remind people, instead of playing I noticed that 70% of my viewers aren't subscribed bullshit you'll see on our side of the aisle. On the right, they're like, everybody's subscribed but you, homo. Like, that's what they throw out. Chicken shit, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you subscribed? Everybody else is subscribed. What are you, weak? What are you, woke? Right, that's the thing. Like, everybody's subscribed but you. Better join now while the joining's good.
We got 6,000 subscribers yesterday. We are on our way to crush the 3 million by August 1st. Although, look at the numbers. It has dropped significantly since.
See, this is a sales pitch. Yeah, eat me. Yeah, go away. Nope, doesn't work. Shut up. Yeah. This sales pitch.
Oh, you know what? One more thing over there with Russell Brand and Sage Steele, Jillian Michaels, Roseanne Barr. We have a rotating cast of characters coming in every week. The link.
What? Sorry. Is everybody guilty of some sort of a crime of moral turpitude?
Is in the description below.
Don't care.
But yes, we have a lot to talk about today. I have extra paper in my file here. Trump, Tucker, Iran, Israel. Democrats burning cities, migration, deportations, all of the words, adjectives, verbs, adverbs. I'm spitting while I'm talking. There's just a lot to do. So let's just dive right in.
Welcome to a new episode of Hey Asshole, This is Your Problem, Not Ours.
I want to start with a throwback because, you know, as we're watching some of the fighting right now, and I tried to address it as calmly as I could yesterday.
The fighting. By the way, for the record, he does, in the fighting, he does not mean Israel and Iran. He doesn't mean Ukraine and Russia. He doesn't mean Sudan, certainly. Who gives a shit about Sudan, right? He's not talking about India and Pakistan, whether that could pop up again. No. He's talking about the only fighting that matters. Maggot on maggot crime.
And then, you know, sometimes on Twitter, things aren't as calm as they could be. But you know, one of the things that I'm coming around to right now is that Donald Trump has largely been right about everything, right?
No, absolutely not. Let's see. Doink. There we go.
Right? I always talk about like being right directionally. You don't have to be right about everything. Like I'm definitely not right about everything. I often get political predictions wrong, but I think I have been, and I have a pretty good track record over the last decade of being directionally right about the big things. I haven't fallen for the hoaxes. I've largely been right about the big things.
All right. This is just him going to excuse Trump and the conspiratorial talk around him, right? This is just his way of walking that around. Because Glenn Beck's entire thing this morning was like, I don't want war. I've never wanted war, and I don't want war, and nobody on my side was war. And we all went through the thing where we were all pro-war, and now we're not pro-war anymore, and we're against the war. However, in the case of Iran, really the only option is to turn the sand to glass and kill everybody because they're a bunch of maniacs, right? That's always the whip around. There's this. It's like left, right, hook.
COVID, Russia, blah, blah, blah.
You were not right about COVID or Russia. The fuck is he talking about? And by the way, if you're going to say what you were right about, say what part of it. You can't just go, I was right about the Bible. Like, in what way? Well, that the King James Version is more dignified than the others. And I think the modern translations lose a lot of the kind of gravitas, you know, that you get from it. I was right about the Bible. What? If you read it backwards, it brings a demon. Thank you, Jennifer.
Trump has a way better track record on me. When it comes to being right on the important things, he's been right about almost everything. And as we're at this interesting moment right now.
Interesting's a word.
Where the left is melting down. And
oh, you mean showing up for the No Kings rally and actually putting on massive get-togethers. By the way, absolutely peaceful, except for the violence acted upon those folks. Right? We had a person that was shot during one of them in Salt Lake City. We had but not coming from the actual march itself. There was a couple of cars that drove through them, but again, this is not violence by protesters.
We're entering this phase of the Israel-Iran war that America either has some
phase. Thanks, Roderick. Thank you so much, and thank you, Stacy. It was yes.
Subtly been involved or will be more actively involved, or there's some combination of that. We're seeing some infighting on the right. So I want to start with a little retrospective.
Infighting, that's what it is. Yeah, let's go back to where we all had a position and then pretend we never had it.
Perspective on Trump, because about 10 years ago, it was 2015. It's hard to believe how quickly this decade has passed. Everyone was laughing at Donald Trump when he said he wanted to be president, when he went down that golden elevator, which actually was 10 years.
Oh, the golden elevator. I didn't realize. I thought it was an escalator this whole time. But, technically it's a conveyance because elevators don't just elevate, nor do escalators. There is no word for a down escalator except a descalator. You can't escalate downward. So you've got escalators and nobody knows what the other fucking thing is called. One second. And nobody knows what the other thing is called. Thank you very much.
Years ago yesterday, believe it or not. And I want to start with this quick compilation. It's going to start with Ann.
Boring. Yeah, okay.
They laughed at Ann Coulter, and everyone laughed. And I suspect,
Yeah, and it's still ridiculous.
if I could find videos of mine from around that time, well, certainly I didn't support Trump the first time around, as you know, but I didn't have Trump derangement syndrome, but I did largely think it was just this like circus sideshow thing that many of us thought it was, right? And I want to give credit to the people that saw what he was and what the vision was.
Great setup, by the way. If you're going to say, hey, I was right about so many things in the right direction, and then just lead with where you were wrong.
And
sure.
Everything else.
Check.
I think that's a nice way to start the show today, because look.
Hold on. Is my mic? No, my mic's okay. Hold on 1 second. I'll tap it up a little bit. Let's go. There you go.
You got Ann Coulter. If we're just doing a check mark. Ann Coulter, big check. You got it right.
Yeah, and she hates him.
Joy Reid, X. Jon Stewart, X. John Heilman. He's the guy that Russell Brand crushed.
And you're in the same.
On Real Time. You remember that clip? X.
No, I don't remember that clip. I'm too focused on the fact that he's got rape charges in 2 states. He's got 4 charges in each, but I'm certain that's the only people he did this to.
Mike Barnacle, I don't know if you're in the biz anymore, X. S.E. Cupp, I haven't heard of you in years. Ed Rendell, he was the former, he is alive. I wasn't sure if he was alive or not. He's the former governor of Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken, but he's long gone. All of these people, and Rachel Maddow, who's become like, the $20 million fraudster of all time. They were all wrong about Donald Trump. And that leads us to.
No. They thought he was ridiculous, and he still is. They just thought they had more faith in the American people. So they weren't actually wrong about Trump. They were wrong about the voters.
To this moment, has this man who has been right about all the big things, who has fought the system has tried to jail him, it has tried to impeach him, it has literally tried to kill him.
It has literally not tried to kill him. Those were his own people. Fuck you. No, again, they do this all the fucking time. We know exactly who did it. Ask Trump. These were guys by themselves. Even Trump says so. So either he's full of shit, or you just can't face the fact that maggots are fucking nuts.
Does he deserve a little bit of our support right now, as he's trying to quite literally change the world? He's trying to end old blood feuds.
By draining the blood out of one side?
And I think he does. That's obviously what my position is. So now I want to get into a little bit of the spat between Trump and Tucker-Carlson.
By the way, that was fucking gibberish. What was this?
Right now, as he's trying to quite literally change the world. He's trying to end old blood feuds. And I think he does. That's obviously what my position is. So now I want to get into a little bit of the spat.
You think he does want to, or do you think he does end? Oh, this is stupid.
Between Trump and Tucker-Carlson. Right. So check this out from Leading Report. Breaking. Tucker-Carlson says that if President Trump gets the U.S. involved in Iran, it would precipitate the downfall of the American empire and effectively end his presidency. So let me say first a little bit of a offshoot of what I said yesterday, which is that a lot of the people who are radically against Trump right now
are maggots.
I think in some sense have a legitimate argument, right? There's a legitimate argument when you look back at the American adventures over the last, let's say, 30 years.
Oh, I thought you were just because he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years and the dude's an adjudicated rapist. Like, do you need another reason to hate this fucking guy? Do you really?
So if you look at Iraq under George W. Bush, or you look at Libya under Barack Obama.
Or if you look at E. Jean Carroll or other women under Donald Trump.
And you look at Syria and several of the other things that we've done. Afghanistan, obviously, we had a 20-plus year war that no one knew
and Joe Biden got us out.
Why we were at war at all. And then we had the most utterly embarrassing end of that war, horrific end.
Hey, fuck you. It ended. The most embarrassing thing is not ending it. If it's that embarrassing, nobody knows what it's for, every day after you realize that is the most embarrassing day. And you know what isn't the most embarrassing day? The day you actually fucking ended it.
That war under Joe Biden.
I'm so sick of this fucking talking point. Joe Biden got us out. Eat shit. End of fucking conversation. Trump chickened out again.
But if you look at all of those adventures, there's a lot of reasons to be skeptical of our ability to do, let's say, positive things in that part of the world. So that's legit. I am putting a sticker, a bumper, little tag on that. That is a legit argument. But now I would like to offer something that maybe has a little bit more robustness and reality to it, which is the
reality. See, maggots, that's your problem. And he knows. Rubin knows. Rubin knows that you guys are under the impression that he's being held by, there's blackmail against him. Somebody's got Trump by the short and curlies, which are, I think, qualifies all the hair on his head except that weird flap he puts on the top.
How significantly the world has changed in those 10 years, from the laughing at Trump to Trump now being the two-time president who they tried to assassinate. And
no, nobody, fuck you with they. No, not they. You guys. If anything, if all liberals are on the hook for anybody who throws a fucking rock or a fucking can of soup at a riot, at a protest that turns into a riot, if that's all on us, both of those shooters are on you guys, because both of them were maggots.
Impeach and end all of his businesses and everything else. He has radically changed the world. The Middle East is radically different. The Gulf states have
radically. Hold on. First of all, you could argue that the Middle East is radically different, but it's largely because October 7th happened and Netanyahu's response. It's not because of Trump. Sorry, did the Abraham Accords like rally everyone behind Israel? Was there a renewed alliance of, hey, settle down, guys, cascading across the Middle East once the fighting started? No, they've all been really fucking quiet.
Modernized and have given up on a lot of the radical jihad insanity.
Yeah, you mean Saudi Arabia? That's because they ran out of oil, dummy.
The other countries right now that are all bordering Israel, as I said yesterday, 1948, they all jumped in to try to destroy Israel. 1967, they all jumped in to try to destroy Israel. 1973, they all jumped in to destroy Israel. They're not doing it this time because they're realizing it's there to stay. There is a new world that has been forged.
Okay, the Jordanians and the Egyptians didn't give up on the attempts to destroy Israel in the last 10 years. That ship sailed in the fucking 90s, dummy. And the same people who are trying to destroy them, namely the Hezbollah in southern Lebanon and some of the Syrian Islamic forces, and then of course, the Islamic Brotherhood hiding in northern Egypt, but it has nothing to do with the actual countries. It didn't stop those guys.
Say over these last 75 years. And Donald Trump 2 months ago in Saudi Arabia gave that speech and he said, get on board.
And they didn't.
Get on board the freedom train, the America train, get on board capitalism. And let's figure out how to have a positive world together. And Iran now, I think it is clear in Trump's mind that Iran is the last piece that is stopping the new world, the golden age, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because Syria is totally settled. The Lebanese government is rocking. There's not a single problem there. Shit, Turkey has no interest in rolling over the Kurds in that area. What the fuck?
From being born, and it's happening right now. And by the way, we're not doing anything as it relates to this. Israel is doing everything, right?
Right. So what the fuck does this have to do with Donald Trump?
We might be involved in some defensive measures.
Yeah, we might.
Or maybe we're going to drop a bomb on
We might makes right,
or something.
I guess.
But nobody wants American troops.
President of Texas says I can't with this poser. I know. Jesus Christ. This is fucking aggravating.
Or anything else. So, okay, I think you can see I'm trying to be...
You're trying to cradle Trump's balls and work the shaft. We get it.
As fair, and I'm trying to give the devil his due, and I'm trying to take the other position as much as possible.
Did you guys get that? He's trying to give the devil his due and take the other position as much as possible. Clear? This is the power of rhetoric.
Anyway, Tucker...
Is this Kirk Cameron in a bad disguise? Yes.
Obviously is going at Trump
Thank you,
on
Robert.
this, I would say, Tucker is doing...
Try harder.
I would say is a mistaken attack on Trump.
Oh... Sharts fired.
Taking the pure libertarian position, which is we should not be involved in anything. And
is that what it is? I've always been wondering what the pure libertarian position is. And it's apparently, according to this knucklehead, we shouldn't be involved in anything. Cool. I'm sorry, does the libertarian presidential candidate have to have this tramp stamped on his fucking lower back?
I don't think that Trump thinks that's what America First is. I think Trump thinks America First is that we have a moral authority in the world. So
Oh, no, he thinks we have a giant army and he wants to show it off.
Trump yesterday,
That's why he was mad about his pathetic parade, because nobody looked mean. He wanted all the soldiers to look all tough, and they were like, "Hi, kids," and he was like, "God damn it!"
outside the White House, was asked about Tucker.
Okay, what do you think about Tucker criticism against Tucker-Carlson? In case you can't hear that, and for the record, I'm gonna guess clean up in aisle Tucker on Rubin's part.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. Thank you.
That's by the way, that's not just a fuck you to Tucker Carlson. That's a fuck you to Dave Rubin. That's a fuck you to anybody on the blase, any of that. Those aren't real networks.
All right, sorry, that was not outside the White House. Obviously, that was at G7, but
Obvious. It was well outside. It certainly wasn't inside the White House. We'll give you that. How about that? Technically, I'm outside the White House. I'm not just outside the White House.
So there's obviously some tension there. There's obviously some tension. I also want to say that for all the tension that we're seeing right now, remember, the left,
Most of it.
over the last however many years went insane, and they didn't know how to have any fights, and there was really no.
Oh, okay. Tell me you haven't seen my show without saying you haven't seen my show, Dave.
I would say with the limited pushback that me and a few other people offered through the IDW and what we were doing online, there was a collection of old school liberals, but it was a very small group of us and almost no political people behind us that were offering some pushback of the lunacy of the left. What we're seeing on the right now, even though it's annoying and we don't want to see it, and
Yeah, it's annoying. We don't want to see it. But it's nothing. Thank you. Thank you, Mamie. Yes, we got to get there.
there are people that were former friends that now seemingly are enemies and everything else.
Oh, it's so sad. It is. It is. And you hate to see it unless you like to see it, which I do.
Although who's better at bringing former enemies in as friends? It's Donald Trump. At least we're seeing some ideology.
That's right. I just asked Rex Tillerson or Christopher Wray or Mad Dog Mattis or everybody from his first cabinet except Stephen Miller.
Logical warring on the right, and I think
By the
that
way,
is good.
and technically speaking, that's because you can't break Stephen Miller's heart because he doesn't have one.
Anyway, it seemingly is escalating with the Trump and Tucker situation.
It is? Yeah. You sure they're not gonna? I think it's gonna blow over.
And Trump put this up on Truth Social yesterday. Somebody please explain.
Okay, maybe it's not. The kooky thing is because the laugh.
Explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot.
Yes, this guy was on TYT. TYT births right-wing maggot grifters because that's how they start. They just I guess after a while, it's just mask off. This is just a mask off TYT host. That's what this is. Everybody thinks there was a change that happened with him or Jimmy Dore. It didn't. Oh my God, Obie Ranger. Thank you so much. Good Lord. That's so amazing.
Have a nuclear weapon. Okay, so
Thanks, Obie Ranger. You guys are so sweet to me.
that, by the way, has been Trump's position for over 10 years. If you want to end all of this, you can't have Iran threatening. It's not just Israel, but all of the Arabs.
Yeah, look, the best way to peace is to wipe out an entire country. What's hard to understand about that? I mean, it was inevitable. It was going to happen all along. Everybody knew it. No matter how much you tried to negotiate it with, it was inevitable. We've heard the word inevitable over and over and over again from these dickheads, right? Over and over. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Well, if you think it was inevitable, then every word that came out of your mouth about there's going to be a deal or he'll make a deal or Trump will make a deal or there's going to be a deal was a lie.
States, even parts of Europe with a nuke and ballistic missiles and everything else. If this ends with Iran, if this ends right now, if the regime actually falls, if the people of Iran take their country back,
and peace cascades across the world like a blanket of liberty.
think of what a blow it will be to worldwide terrorism. Their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas have basically been completely destroyed. There will
Yes, and nothing's safer than a bunch of rogue terrorists cut off from funding trying to prove themselves to radicals with money the world over.
be no real state sponsor of terrorism. You know me, I'm not some Pollyannish, like, oh my God, we're gonna have kumbaya utopian peace.
Kind of sounds like you are.
But there would be a massive shift in the worldwide psyche, I think, where it would be like, enough of this, enough of this. If you want to be on board the success train, which America
Yeah, I mean, this is the exact reasoning that led up to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
is paving, which is why we have these
thank you,
great
Alexa.
relationships now in parts of the Middle East that we never had before, then you just have to put the ancient hatreds aside. And Iran is the only place that is really holding on to these things in any meaningful way. I've got another here from Trump on Truth Social. America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran...
It's not a fact. It is a position, it is a policy position, it is an idea, it is something, an imperative. You could call it imperative. You could make it be, which could be more, oh, thank you, Padre fan. You could say it's a prescription even, something that you intend, but that's not a fact.
cannot have a nuclear weapon.
I've heard the word fact used around it because they read this out loud on the air, and it's amazing. Like, people get hypnotized into thinking that word actually changes meaning.
Make America
It's like literally or figuratively.
great again. So he's really driving a stake in this, and he's saying, I'm the one that created America first. I know what MAGA is. I'm the duly elected president of the United States, and I'm going to decide it.
That's right. And all you maggots who think, I don't want to go into a foreign war. I don't want to do this. You ran on something else. I didn't vote for this. Fuck you. Suck it up. Line up for the ball cradling and start lubricating your jaw up, because it's going to be a long night.
So now I want to jump back to a tweet that Tucker put out, I think 2 days ago, that I read yesterday, because I think we can start unpacking some of the nuance here. He wrote, the real divide isn't between people who support Israel and people who support Iran or the Palestinians. The real divide is between those who casually encourage violence and those who seek to prevent it.
Just for the record, that sentence could be read to absolutely reverse who he's talking about. You could say that people casually encourage violence by not stopping Iran, and the people who seek to prevent it are the people attacking Iran. That's why this is nothing speak.
Between warmongers and peacemakers.
Blah, 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 blah. Borrowed words on top of borrowed words. Sorry, Tucker-Carlson is not a peacemonger. Sorry, he in no way is he interested in peace, or he wouldn't have gone to fucking Russia during this war on Ukraine, a war from Russia on Ukraine. It's not a war between Russia and Ukraine. It's Russia's war on Ukraine. And he went there, went to the fucking Moscow subway stop and went, oh my God, Russia's amazing. And then didn't spend any time in rural or normal Russia, where everybody actually lives a shitty, degraded, disgusting, sad life. Pissed all over those folks. Not interested. Just want to see the opulence, party like a Russian, get the fuck out, and tell you that the Ukrainians want to ruin all this cool, like all the cool underage sex tourism that people like Scott Ritter enjoy.
Who are the warmongers? They would include anyone who's calling Donald Trump today to demand airstrikes and other direct U.S. military involvement in a war with Iran. On that
Okay, congratulations, guys. We're all clear.
list, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Rupert Murdoch, Ike Perlmutter, and Miriam Adelson. At some point,
okay. Again, my Tucker laugh is pretty solid. Thank God I can't do the rest of that asshole's impersonation. It'd be torment.
they will all have to answer for this, but you should know their names now. Again, leave that up for just a second. This idea.
Yeah, but that's like saying you should know Tucker-Carlson's name because he's the one who doesn't give a shit if Iran wipes out every Sunni country and Israel in the Middle East, because not our fucking problem. Who cares who the Germans are putting on train cars and sending to Poland? We are way over here in America. I mean, that's where America first came from. It was the American Nazi Party not wanting to get involved in World War II.
Casually incurring violence. Iran is the one who has put their proxies all over the Middle East and who has committed
Okay, so Rubin is protecting Trump in this.
terrorism all over the world. So pushing back against them is not casually encouraging violence. Actually ending them could, it might.
That's what I tell you. Didn't I tell you that's the argument? He flipped the argument. Getting rid of Iran. Maybe you're casual. How about that, Tucker? How about that, motherfucker? How about that? You're the one casually encouraging violence by letting these fuckers exist.
Right? It might not, but it might.
Can I say something real quick on a side note? Because this is important when we discuss all these things. These are very serious issues. And the existential threat of Iran with a nuclear weapon is a very serious thing. And the overstepping of another country and you know, the politics and the geopolitical implications of a preemptive strike in any circumstance is a very, very thorny briar patch to get, you know, to throw the world into. These are all very serious issues. And that's why it's ever more clear that the people discussing it, people like Rubin, people like Tucker-Carlson, and people like Donald Trump and those around him are intellectually, morally, psychologically, and psychosexually incapable of comprehending the depth of the actual complexity of the issue. They cannot wrap their tiny little pea brains around it, and therefore they blather bullshit around the edges and spend half the time kicking their own ass. That's why, I mean, Tim Pool's the greatest example of this. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not even sure what I believe, right? That's where they all are. So while I'm discussing these things, and make sure you know that I'm going to mock the living shit out of these guys and throw, you know, all kinds of monkey wrenches into their stupid fucking argument. But it has nothing to do with the material, like, elements of this conflict. Because that's not what we're discussing here at all. What this asshole is discussing has nothing to do with the politics of Israel and Iran or whatever. It's the fact that these assholes have run at 60 miles an hour like a crash test dummy into a wall of, holy God, Trump has been bullshitting me this whole time, and I didn't give a fuck about it when it was happening to other people, but now that it's happening to me, and I'm smashing against it, you know, I'm starting to recognize why I've got all these fucking circles painted all over my face, because everybody saw this coming but me. None of this has anything to do with Israel or Iran or Gaza or fucking any more than it has to do about Sudan or the economics of China or fucking India, Pakistan for that matter. It is all about maggots finally starting to realize that they have been sold a bill of goods. And this real difficulty that they all have, and we saw it with Vinny and those dickheads on the Peanut Butter Dickhead podcast and those folks, where they can go, somebody who was close to Epstein is keeping the evidence out of the public eye, and it couldn't possibly be Trump, who said he wouldn't release this stuff on Fox News. It couldn't be that. It's got to be somebody else. It's got to be the deep state. It's got to be a cabal. There's got to be somebody out there that's manipulating. Maybe they've got him. They've got compromise against him. Maybe he's being blackmailed. Or maybe you're a fucking moron, and he always said he was going to act this way, and you just selectively listened while the rest of us were going, hey, asshole, tariffs don't work, and this motherfucker thinks he can kill somebody and get away with it. That's what this is about. There's a temptation in many situations when we're watching this kind of back and forth to start even getting involved in the conversation about Iran, Israel, first strikes, whether preemptive strike is the only thing that you have to save, you know, or even if you're allowed to do something like that. What are the rules of war? Is Israel going too far? It was October 7th, the predicate by Iran to say that this is actually when the rest of the war is coming, and it was just the first strike to draw them into this so that you could wear them down, maybe lower how many munitions they have, and then Iran could strike from this side with Hezbollah and the Houthis, which is actually how it played out. But maybe that was the plan, maybe it wasn't. But that's a real conversation. That is a real conversation. That's not what's happening here. This is a bunch of guys walking away from a table where they just lost the rent money at 3-Card Monte going, fuck, I thought it had to be a second one. I don't know. That guy's good. It was rigged, you dumb motherfucker. And we were all standing there going, dude, it's fucking rigged. We continue.
Also, as I said yesterday, someone's leaking in the White House. How
But enough about Trump's catheter.
is it that Tucker knows and would have well, what I would say is the audacity to put out a list of who Donald Trump is on the phone with? How is he getting access to that?
What are you talking about? These are people who've spoken out and know him personally. So if they're saying this to their audiences or have articulated this on social media, the idea is that if they're close to him, they're calling him. If they're calling him to say anything, this is what they're calling. This isn't insider information. This is fucking rudimentary baseline educated guessing.
That seems like a real problem, having nothing to do with the meta problem of Iran and Israel and the war and everything else.
So meta. You know what I mean? Like, it's so meta. It's so meta.
That seems like a problem, right?
It does.
But also just the basic idea, I know you guys get it, of peace through strength. When there are bad actors out there who have terror.
Yeah, but peace through strength doesn't come from fucking flinching. And I grew up, I was accused of causing potential trouble by my apartment manager by hanging a sign and sitting on the sidewalk alone and no King's Day during the time frame. Well, I appreciate it, Colleen, and I like that you're a troublemaker. It's good trouble. Sorry, let's back up and grab this piece again. I got distracted. Hold on, let me start this reference again.
Like a problem, right? But also just the basic idea, I know you guys get it, of peace through strength.
Right. So peace through strength doesn't work if all you ever do is flinch. If you do that fucking redneck thing where, like, I grew up all in school and everybody would walk up to you and go like that to see if you like flinch and put your hands up. Now, I always made the case in those situations, like, made you flinch. I'm like, what am I going to do? Let somebody, the next dumbass punch me without putting my hands up? Fuck off. If you want to take a poke, take a poke. Sorry, you're having flashbacks from last night with your mother, whatever. I don't know what I was talking. But when they would do shit like that, I'm like, okay, all right, let's come on, right? As eventually you're going to have to put up or shut up, right?
When there are bad actors out there.
Yes, and I think it's cruel to bring up Kevin Sorbo right now because he's having a rough one on shitter.
Who have terror proxies all over the world, who commit state-sponsored terror.
Is that what it? I mean, that's what I would describe his movies as. I mean, most people on Rotten Tomatoes call Kevin Sorbo's acting career an act of terror. That is true.
And everything else, who have tried to assassinate Donald Trump, as the Iranians have. Do you just say, oh, well, we just want peace, right? If you live in a little village and there's a village next to you and you're just a peaceful village, you're just nice people, you're like the hobbits, you're little people with your hairy feet and your small huts. And
it's a really weird way to describe Jews in general.
You don't want to bother anybody, but on the other side is a bunch of, what are they, orcs? And they're really nasty people and they just...
Okay, don't delve into references you don't get, shithead. Anyways, you see what he's doing. He's like running cover for this and trying to explain it to his audience. It takes an hour for him to explain this shit.